What's up? So I'm back. Well, I'm not back. You're back, to be fair. Because I only clicked. I didn't really move. You probably went to take a bathroom break or something, at least. I hope. Nah, you should probably go take a pee pee. Dude. But yeah. What do I want to talk about in this fucking video? I don't know. Get a doobie in my hand. Let's talk about drugs. So, my relationship with drugs started off with tobacco. I think, as of most, at least Spanish kids that go into drugs at some, like, I haven't gone deeply into drugs, of course, because I'm still fucking here and shit. But I started out with tobacco, and then I went to alcohol, and I have a personal opinion, at least right now, I have a personal opinion of alcohol being one of the worst drugs I've seen, mainly because of the mainstream effect that it has. Like, not mainstream effect, but like, alcohol is so easily accessible in so many places. Maybe not so much in the US, but in Spain, dude, you can start drinking when you're 14 easily. I didn't, thank God, but I know that you can. Because it's not that hard to start drinking here. And so I see a lot of people with alcohol problems. And I see alcohol problems being one of the most fucked up. Because, of course, it doesn't have the effects of, like, the radical effects that would have, like, I don't know, fucking ingesting, like, taking heroin every day, or taking cocaine every day. It's not the same, you know, but I think it's a bit more fucked up in the sense that you don't have to try. If you're 21, for example, you don't have to try to get alcohol. Like, if you're fucking craving alcohol, you can go to a shop, like, to a liquor store, fucking think. I don't know. Like, here you go to a fucking supermarket, and you just fucking grab your shit. Dude, you loud. You loud as fuck. Dude, what the fuck is that, man? What kind of fucking vehicle is that? Oh my god. Dude, shut up. What's the vibe, man? Fucking hell. Well, regardless, alcohol is fucked, in my opinion. Because it's super easy to get, like, it's super easy to fucking buy. It's super easy to get. Unlike, I don't know, virtually every other drug except tobacco, which you need, like, a little bit of fucking knowledge, I guess, to fucking, or a little bit of sass to get weed, or to get other types of drugs like ecstasy or MDMA or fucking MMA. MMA? What the fuck? You got MMA. Lamau. So alcohol is fucked because of so loud. It's so loud out here. Jesus Christ. So I think alcohol is fucked in both ways because of A, what we said about how it's super easy to grab, like to fucking buy. B, how easily people fall in love with it. In the sense that alcohol is a social lubricant, of course. It has that effect on virtually everybody. And some people, most people, I've seen, like, after questioning, not questioning, but after asking a bit, I've seen that most people get addicted to being able to to the ambiance that it gives you of not giving a fuck. You know what I mean? Like alcohol. Sorry, there's fucking mosquito around. Alcohol gives you an aura of I'm drunk, thus I do not care, which is extraordinarily appealing, not only to the opposing sex but to make friends. That's why everybody makes a lot of friends on like fucking I don't know, like when you're fucking drunk, because it's really easy to do so. Because the fucking I don't know, I I see it more as like you don't think so much of your insecurities, and you don't think so much about the things that could go wrong or the things that the other person could be thinking. You know, think you're more in the present moment, which is fucked because then you get to the next day and most people can't remember shit about their liquor trip. You know, which I think is just that people blackouts are something that I despise mainly because I like remembering and I like recalling shit. So when somebody tells me about shit that happened at a party and I'm like, yo, what you talking about? It doesn't feel good. But that's just a person. So alcohol I think is extremely dangerous because also it's not like it's not like we tell our kids not to drink alcohol. You know, because if you tell a kid, it's like if you fucking I don't know, because that's another subject. Because like telling fucking young minds not to do something just makes them want to do it more. And that I gotta know, like if they told you when you were little, don't go to that neck of the forest, dude, dude, come on, I wanted to be in that part of the forest, cause yo, I couldn't be there. And so yeah, man, that's just alcohol's fucked. Now, I don't think the grasp of alcohol is as fucked because the effects and the after effects and the entirety of alcohol is pretty bad. Pretty bad. I give it a D tier. Like from S, let's do it S A B C D. I give alcohol a D tier because personal opinion, of course. Now, tobacco is a neurostimulant. Well, nicotine is. Tobacco just has the component that is a neurostimulant. But tobacco is also filled with fucking shit. Smoking tobacco now, or mixed with doobie. So I said before that the grasp that alcohol has on you is not as fucked. Now, I've met some truly alcoholic people and I've seen the grasp of it be horrendous. Truly, truly horrendous. But I think it's nothing, I think it has nothing to do with the grasp that smoking has on a person. Because smoking is like another act, like something that's different from your. Because you're gonna drink, you're gonna do the act of drinking, even if you're not ingesting alcohol, but you're not gonna be smoking if you're not doing this drug. You know what I mean? So I think smoking, like I think tobacco is very fucked up. Also because of the ease that is behind the consumption of tobacco. Like it's very easy to consume tobacco. At least in places like Spain, it's very easy. It's very easy. Like even at a young age, you can start smoking tobacco if you really want to. Like I think my first cigarette was when I was like 15 or like 14. like I could start getting tobacco because if you look minimally 18, not even full on 18, if you look fucking 16, it's fucked up, but they will fucking buy from it. And mainly because of, like, did notice that a bit, like, did notice this a bit, and back in those times when I started to, like, go into places and ask for tobacco illegally, basically. The first times were fucked because I went into fucking places super nervous, not knowing what to say, and I got kicked out, basically. And so my experience was that when I went into a place, I got kicked out. And then I was like, what the fuck? That can't be what's happening, right? And so I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm once super drunk, so social lubricant was fucking, yeah, existing. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try this because I had a load of friends that did it so effortlessly. They were so nonchalant with it. They could go into a fucking like bar and be like, "Yo, fucking, can you turn the fucking the tobacco machine on?" And they were like, "Bop, no questions asked." And to me, they always looked me up and down and they were like, "How old are you, child?" And I'd be like, um. And so I took this visual advice. When I say visual advice, I mean something that I saw that I thought could help. I saw my friend once because I told him about this, and I was like, "Yo, get me some backy," and he was like, "Fuck you, okay." So I saw him do it, and I saw him go into it there and just use words as the power to influence and as the power to convince that he was indeed 18, but he wasn't. And so this time, after like thinking back to this moment where I saw that friend get tobacco, I was like, holy fucking shit. Let me try to be a bit more confident in my words and in the way I speak, and make it even seem that I have a bit of urgency to get my tobacco. So that it seems that it's something that I do on the weekly, maybe not, maybe even on the daily. So it seems. And so I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And I did it, and I was given like access to the tobacco machine with no questions asked. And at that moment, I acted naturally. I like got my tobacco and fucking, yeah, just fucking existed. To be fair, but main thing. Wait, hold up. Oh, sorry, little armpit in your face. I hope y'all don't smell that. Smelly, smelly pepelly, smelly person. Wait, hold the phone. Where's the phone? Oh, ain't that so? Oh, tobacco's okay. I'd rate tobacco. I'd say B tier because it's not a bad like. It's not that fucked up of a drug in terms of effects, but I would fucking I'd bump it down to C tier because, dude, tobacco is so horrible for your body. Like we all know this. Tobacco is so fucked up. Fucking shite, basically. But and nicotine itself, pretty good fucking. Let's say tobacco C, nicotine. To be fair, I'd keep nicotine itself. I wouldn't bump it up to B. I'd keep it at a C because nicotine ingested at, I don't know, somewhat elevated levels, like taking snooze for example. I've done that shit once. It was interesting to say the least. it starts like I don't know, like it really like you can really tell that it's a neurostimulant in high doses of uh, nicotine. So, for example, I don't know how healthy or how good this is for a human being. To be fair, but like I have some friends that like, or I've heard instances of people rather. I've heard instances of people that fucking study while they take snooze. And I find that extremely interesting because, like, normally if smoking while you like when you're snoozing, Lamau, when you're smoking while you're studying is fucked because you have to smoke, because you have to do something else, basically. But if you're not really smoking and you only have the fucking, uh, neurostimulation, fuck, can't find the word in my brain. If you have the neurostimulation, it might be properly, like, effective, maybe in some way. Like the only issue I see with it is if you're studying for an exam, then you would have an issue with state dependent. What's it called? State dependent memory. I think it's called, where you remember certain things for like shit. Not supposed to like remember certain things better. God damn, so much shit. I'm sorry for the scatteredness. State dependent memory, like for example, imagine studying when you're inebriated or studying when you're, same example, high on nicotine, because you are high. You're just high on nicotine. As well as being high on fucking alcohol. Fucking, what is it? Ethanol content. I'm not sure. But, yeah. State dependent memory, like, for example, you can study math or you can study some parts of I don't know, literature, like, I don't know, Spanish literature exam, for example. You can study some parts of that by chewing some specific, I don't know, like fucking strawberry flavored bubblegum, you know? And if you chew if you chew strawberry flavored bubblegum during the exam, you will have an easier time remembering. So it goes for the same for like drugs and for like other ways to like fucking inebriate yourself in the sense of, sorry, if I'm taking snooze, which I do, like I would in some, like I would like to try it once, like studying with snooze, because it's an interesting feeling, like inside your head, the snooze. At least the first time doing it, because there was also like a high dosage thing, but it was rather interesting to be fair. I would like to try it for studying, but I fear the, the repercussions of it being present in this that we're talking about, fucking state dependent memory. Where sometimes, for example, I studied high for the longest time, like fucking high on weed, and then I went into some exams sober like a fucking pineapple, and found that I couldn't remember things. And then sometimes when I like I don't know fucking smoked a doobie or half a doobie before an exam, I could, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't really think that too much into it at the time, or because I remember why the fuck would I? I didn't think that at the time I didn't think that the brain was that powerful. But dude, It's crazy. And I still don't know shit. Like, the main thing I know is that I don't know anything. Of course, that's a stolen quote, I think. Yeah. But, dude, for now, at least, the moment I start to know shit, because, yeah, this channel is a little fucking, like, a time project. Also, being able to travel back in time, because traveling forwards in time is, right now, for us, impossible. So, I'm gonna leave some video recordings for myself to listen to. I'm gonna leave them on YouTube and see what people fucking think. People like it and can get something off them, then that's just, dude, that's a 2 for 1. What the fuck? And that'd be fucking awesome. To be fair. But yeah. So, smoking is fucked. Smoking doobies, I mean. In the sense that, I know I've been on the, I've been on the, fuck. I've been held by the grip of doobs for a while now. It's not fun. Like, being conscious about the fact that it has a grip on you. But as many people say, the first step is taking notice. And I think I've already taken notice. And so, I'll give, like, the only advice that I have in this video. So you're looking to stop smoking? Appeal to the competitive side of your character and of human nature. And do this, because I fucking did this. I will stop. I'm gonna do this starting 1st of September. The boys and me and I, sorry, the boys and I plan to all go cold turkey on the 1st of September. Now, why is that better than doing it on your own? Mainly, I've seen that it's always easier with help, and it's always easier if you have somebody that can empathize with your situation. And it becomes unmountably easy when you understand that your competitive aspect, like the competitive side of humans, because we are very competitive people. Like, we're competitive beings, as we are. Like, fucking, just look back in the history books. Like, we fucking always wanted fucking to win, is the main gist of everything. So, appeal to that side in your friends, and appeal to that side in your colleagues. Maybe not friends, but maybe colleagues that want to stop smoking. Appeal to that side in them and be like, yo, what if we do this? I think I'd win. Post a little bit. Be like, I think I'd win. And they'd probably be like, nah, you wouldn't. And you'd be like, nah, I would. And this conversation would start going on between the two of you, or the three of you, or the four of you, or the multiples. And you probably come to the same conclusion. Oh, we started a little competition. So first one to stop smoking. Oh, sorry, first one to fucking last one. Sorry, to stop, to keep on without smoking. That's when a fail wins. And what do they win? They win little pot. No pun intended. A little pot that we're gonna put on like I don't know, $5 a fucking person, or like $10 a person. You want to make it extra interesting and a little bit more appealing to the competitive aspect. Everybody can, and if you really want to do like a full on investment in this side of not smoking, let's say you're 5 people, and fuck shit, and each of those like working people, and each of those 5 people has $50 laying around. Maybe, probably $250 or euros, 250 insert currency here would probably be more than enough incentive for anybody to stop smoking. And if it's not, you can always add the incentive of I'm going to do it and you're not. Which sounds fucked, and it is a little bit fucked, but I don't mean to shove it in their face entirely. Do it a little tiny bit so they take note, so that their subconscious can force them to keep with the challenge. But to be fair, I think that I would not be where I am today if I hadn't picked up smoking. I don't think that my mind would work in the same open minded ways that it does if I hadn't picked up smoking. And yeah, Scooby, weed overall, B. I say B. B level. So we have two D's, liquor and tobacco at D. Now we had it at C. So liquor, tobacco, and at C also we have weed. No, I put weed at B. Yup. Let's move on to party drugs. Cocaine. I think it's fucking D tier because it's a lot of money. It's a overrated effect. It's a shit feeling the next time, and it's a shit feeling overall when you're doing cocaine. Because like I've done it once, and just the feeling of doing it and thinking, shit, what have I come to? Or not even just thinking like, what the fuck, this is shit. And it's super addictive and it's super it just fucks with your dopamine receptors in every way whatsoever. Fucking D tier, bro. D tier. Same for heroin, which I'll never try. So get it off the list, you know. Fucking MDMA and everything, and like and MDMA crystals and shit are pretty peg, to be fair. Like it's pretty good. Like in my opinion, it's like a better form and a more, fucking safer because you don't snort it way of ingesting something that will give you more energy. Of course, in an exaggerated sense, because if you want more energy, just fucking drink a coffee. You know, if you're at a party and you want like that energy, take a little bit of MDMA. You might fucking. It's pretty fucking nice. Also, I'm the biggest fan, of music. Like I'll make another video of. Well, I'll make another video talking about music, just music, because I think that it deserves its own long speech. But something that you have to understand about drugs also is that I see it as a gradient that goes like this. I wish I could fucking draw it out for you, but no editing, so fucking. A gradient that subjects gives us how many cars. Well, I hope you guys can hear me. So basically, a gradient of dissociation from reality, in the sense that alcohol and tobacco are very chill in that sense. But you can get to a point on alcohol, both on alcohol and on tobacco, where, for example, a nicotine rush or the booze, like fucking the world looks like it's spinning. That's a bit of dissociation from reality, in the sense that it's a bit discordant with what you normally see. Then psychotropics, which are like MDMA and shit, my knowledge, at least, are is where like reality begins to like your perception of the real world begins to change, maybe ever so slightly. For example, maybe time goes a bit faster, maybe goes a bit slower, maybe maybe something feels really good. Like I don't know, maybe this feels fucking awesome. He does. What the fuck? It's that weird. What the fuck is that? So weird ass texture. Never mind. And let me get back on track with a little bit of water. So the more up the scale you go, the more shit starts to get psychedelic. So you have psychotrope. So you have the psychoactive compounds like fucking weed and shit, like cannabis. I think is a. I'm pretty sure is a psychoactive compound. I'm not. Don't quote me on this because I'm still a 19-year-old, not very wise, as you know. But I'm pretty sure cannabis is a psychoactive compound, and then you go to psychotropic compounds, which are like MDMA and all its subderivatives. And then you can go up to the graph of dissociation from reality, you know. Then you have psychedelics, and then inside of psychedelics you have like ranges too. And psychedelics is where you would start to enter the weirdness of psychedelics, to be fair, because like psychedelics have this fucking very weird thing to them, which is they can affect everybody in a different way, in an extremely different way. Of course, some effects will probably be the same in some describable way. But take troops for example. You can see that very clearly if you ever do a shroom strip with a lot of people. You can see it very clearly, especially if you're a well trained psychonaut. You can see the difference and the dissonance between how it affects the different people. Because sometimes it's really like shrooms are not my favorite. psychedelic compound. To be fair, neither are truffles, but because it's very dependent on very I wouldn't say very. I'd say because I think very dependent is LSD. Extraordinarily dependent on the ambience that you're in and the location, the circumstances, that being physical or mental or even spiritual. If you're like looking for something new spiritually, I guess. And so, okay, dog. Oi! That dog's dog gotta shut up. Jesus Christ. Well, that sucks. So, I wish I had my little doggy. Fuck. Sorry for the stretching, boys and girls. It's customary. So, psychedelics. Shrooms, I'd say they can be a gatekeeper to psychedelics, though. Like, they're very. Because shrooms are way less. There's way less fear imposed upon the image of shrooms than there is, for example, on the image of LSD. Like, you can ask a lot of people, like I've done, I've asked a lot of people, and most people say that they've heard or they know or they recollect, to say it better, they recollect more stories about people going crazy and losing their mind on LSD than they do on shrooms. You know what I mean? So there's more fear on LSD than there is on shrooms. Although I do think that because of what I said before about it being extraordinary, like extremely devoted to the circumstances, shrooms, it's way easier to have a bad trip on shrooms than it is on LSD. So I would rag shrooms, both shrooms. I'd rag shrooms because you get some pretty cool visuals with shrooms, but you have to be ready because like the thing about I heard a perfect definition once about the like like how normally psychedelic experiences, especially the visual sense, are but like vividly ineffable. Like you can't describe them, and it's very hard to put that shit into words. A friend described like the like she was having a bad trip, and she described the shroom visuals to me as being overtly opaque, and I felt that shit hit home. Like with LSD, you can sort of see through the LSD filter and through the wave. But with shrooms, it's way more just fucking flat out there, and it's way more, especially if you're a claustrophobic person, which I'm not, but I've seen it happen. You can feel very claustrophobic on shrooms, and also the fact that shrooms were not are not really meant to be fucking taken, like eaten. Like maybe because there's also like fucking the Stone Dave theory and all this shit, like Stone Dave theory about how fucking humans got to the point of enlightenment that we have gotten because we started like what was that, Homo erectus or something started, or even before erectus, we started consuming psychedelic compounds in fungi, and so that expanded our brain, which is true because which is fucking crazy because that's something that I will bump these up. I will bump shrooms up because I think that microdosing shrooms and like mini dosing shrooms is a very has a very positive effect on the human, like both mind, body, and soul. It creates perfect like resonance between, I don't know, like there's studies going on now, and there's studies that have been fucking undergone lately, very lately to be fair, about depression, anxiety, stress, and how microdosing shrooms can positively like affect or like benefit people that have these things. So I think shrooms are really fucking proper, to be fair. Honestly, as a personal opinion, I put shrooms in solid A tier. I'd put them in B tier because like of what like the actual shroom tripping is. But I put them in B tier. I put them in A tier, sorry, because of the micro dosing and because of how the amount of benefits that shit. Oh shit! The amount of benefits that doing micro dosing can, like the way it can impact one's like well being is properly fucking awesome. But the main problem I see with shrooms is them being considered the gatekeeper for psychedelics. Now, why? It's also because what I said about it's very easy to have not an amazing trip on shrooms. Like I've had it happen where I fucking have shrooms on me and I eat them. I'm a very picky eater and I really don't like textures are really fucked for me, for example. And like I don't know. Some tastes are just fucking mean to my fucking taste buds. Like just horrendous. So shrooms are what are some nasty motherfuckers. Some nasty motherfuckers. And not only I don't know if I talked about this before. Them being not made for eating is dude, like the cell wall, like the cellular wall of fucking um shrooms has a bunch of fucking chitin in it. And humans, our bodies, were not made to digest chitin. And so when we fucking ingest shrooms, the chitin in the cellular wall is just fucking there, being not digested, being just sitting there, fucked. And the amount of times that I've read up on stories, because I have read up on a lot of psychonaut stories and shit. The amount of people that have lost their body because sometimes you buy like one dose of shrooms or something for yourself. Take the shrooms, 20 minutes pass, you puke them out, and you have a very, very, very mild trip. Of course, not what you were expecting, and that just doesn't feel extremely good to be fair, because you feel like you lost it. And it's just not that. It's not very comfortable to take shrooms. Let's put it at that. And so I don't think they should be considered the gatekeeper of psychedelics. Which maybe y'all fucking disagree with me on the fact that they are, but like in my opinion, like most people say, like most people that I've talked to about psychedelics, and I bring up LSD, for example, or DMT, like we're talking about LSD, and I'm like I don't know, like being like full fanboying about LSD, like oh my god, it's not I love la 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 la. Fucking so many people have told me, okay, yeah, but I'd like to try shrooms first. and it's like understandable because like also like the effect of LSD, the effects of LSD have been goddamn. The effects of LSD have been uh maybe not incentivized, but radicalized to some extent through movies, stories, and exaggerated anecdotes of parents. I think. I think that. What do I think? LSD is a very interesting compound. I think it's a compound that, like, many people, I say many people to exclude some, because I would say that everybody should try LSD at least once in their lives. Okay? But I'd have to lay some ground rules. I'd have to lay some exceptions. For example, the mentally deranged, I don't think, are suited for uh, not even mental challenges that are imposed by LSD, but like just the fucking mental state that LSD puts you in. I don't think, or at least from what I've read, I don't think that I wouldn't. Goddamn. I wouldn't say that everybody has to try LSD because I feel that some exceptions do have to be made. But if you don't have any actual vivid problems like being in a mental asylum type shit, because that's the extent I'm going to, I feel like you should try or at least keep a more open mind about the compound. Because also notice the fact that the rest of these I've been calling I've been calling drugs. And LSD here I'm calling a compound. It's mainly because of the fact because I personally, of course, projection. I feel LSD does not feel like a drug. LSD, at least like from the very first time that I tried it, it felt like a very natural thing. Very, I don't know, like it was because it was shit that was it just made shit more interesting. Of course, like the visuals were still there, but it was more the fact of the mind space that LSD puts you in. For me, was extreme and still is extraordinarily comfortable. I love it. I'm not addicted to it. Like I don't take LSD trips at a constant rate. That's something else that I want to touch up on. Like I want to touch on because I've had so many fucking time. Like I've had so many friends tell me this. This is something that I fucking love. So there's like these entities that fucking related to LSD and all the psychedelic world, like on high dosages of LSD, and with DMT, it's way more like people see it way more. But basically, seeing, feeling, or getting to know in some way or another otherworldly entities, not human and not deified, and just entities. I I'm yet to discover any of these because I'm yet to embark on heavy dosage LSD trips. But LSD is a compound that you I don't think I say think because I still haven't encountered like encountered anybody that has gone to this extent, but I don't think it's something that you can get addicted to. Mainly because the moment you start abusing the compound, you you are literally called in for a meeting by these. Because I've had this same experience be be described to me by very different people in very different situations, taking LSD in very different and just the whole very different people, very different shit overall, giving me the exact same briefing about how the moment you start abusing the compound, you see yourself brought to a meeting with these otherworldly figures and entities, and they tell you and they let you know that you need to chill the fuck out and that you need to slow down. And I've never heard about anybody getting addicted to LSD, because there comes a point where you take LSD and you see these fucking beings and you listen to them, because I assume that from what I've seen they have a like sub you get some feeling of authority emanating from them. Like I said, not deified, like not like God or anything like that, but simply authoritative. So I think LSD is a incredible drug. Of course, I can't say that I'm. This is my biggest projection, like, and the biggest. I say my biggest projection because it's the thing I have most feeling about, in the way that, like, I don't know. This is more personal opinion than anything else, because the things I'm about to say, you have to keep in mind that LSD, like lysergic acid, is my favorite compound to date, and so keep that in mind, of course, when I talk about all these things. Because I'm no fucking dog. Yeah. Tell that dog to shut the fuck up. Regardless, LSD is a very, very, like, stupidly beautiful thing if people were to give it a chance. Especially in a musical aspect. Like, I slowly took into consideration that LSD, for at least to me, it, it affects me in a way that I am fully enveloped in the music that surrounds me and the noises that surround me, and it is in full accord and in full. Everything follows a rhythm, right? And everything follows a specific pattern. And with LSD, it becomes so vivid, it becomes so clear to me. And so music just transports me to another dimension, to a realm that I cannot begin to really fathom. Cannot really begin to explain, but I could constitute it, like, I could say that it constitutes itself of pure and utter bliss, of both songs that you know, songs that are familiar to you, so that songs that you can hear in your head before they sound in the real world. That's something that happens, and that's something that's very fucking awesome, because you expect a fucking certain part of a song in your head, and when that part of the song comes on, you get super excited and you actually feel the adrenaline. And so I feel everybody should get, like, I'm gonna end up talking about music, and this shit's already going superbly long, so I don't want to do that. I'll keep it for another day. But I'll keep this tier list limited to those drugs and compounds that I've tried. You know, because those that I haven't tried, I can't really. So I'll just fucking scooch heroin off there. But like heroin won't be even be on the list ever because it's just fuck. It's fuck. But lysergic acid, coming back to it, yeah, just something that I feel should be. Everybody should keep a more open mind about it because it's not as holy shit. I'm seeing rainbows and unicorns as people think or have been brought to believe. So I think it's something that everybody should try because it will give you also an understanding of the spiritual world, I guess, and of what the world can be like. Because lysergic acid, diethylamide, has a lot of spiritual lures attached to it in the sense that it feels, at least for me, it feels like a very spiritual thing. Like when I'm in a trip, it feels like I'm in a full entanglement with my spirit, and thus I don't know. Dude, dude. And it's a very spiritual thing also in the way that having a trip with somebody, especially if it's a one on one, like, of course it's good to have a trip sitter there, but from what I've seen, it's a very, I wouldn't say Americanized, because what the fuck, it makes no sense to say that, but like, way of thinking through LSD. But I don't think, unless it's the first time for both of you, which then it would make sense. Because my first time, I also had a trip sitter. After first time, relay off the trip sitter need, because it's a limiter. I feel like a trip sitter is an inhibitor for having a proper trip actually, because like having a sober person in a psychedelic trip where both two people are tripping. If you take a tab at the same time with one person and you fucking chill with that person, like listen to music and you spend the whole time, like the whole trip with that person, you're gonna have a pretty similar trip, right? Because we said that, like, what we said about drugs and the circumstances, psychedelics are very circumstance driven. So you can have a very similar trip with somebody. Of course, discarding the way their body is gonna synthesize, like fucking not synthesize, but like take the drug in. And so trips and like one-on-one trips, especially, because like you know how. Oh, let me just first say, like, one-on-one trips can seem to be one of the most powerful boosters for soul bonding. Yeah, like for soul bonding and for bonding as a whole, and for like I feel way more connected, both spiritually, physically, and in every way whatsoever. And I feel that I understand way better those people with whom I've undergone a trip. Why? Because going through that, like every trip has its ups and downs. The downs are mainly just bounds of confusion that you have, like the spurts of I don't know what's happening. Or like I don't, imagine you're chilling and the fucking doorbell rings and both of you are like, and you just go and it's like an Amazon delivery guy. Like sometimes you just gotta keep in mind that the world is still running. It's not fucking. And one last thing, it probably won't be the last because I can ramble on for an hour, literally. What the fuck? Sorry, guys. So another thing that I would like to touch upon is breathing. I might make a video about breathing, just in its entirety, because I think it might be something that just to touch upon by itself. But breathing on psychedelics feels like you're being in tune with the earth. Now that's a way of putting it. That's one way of putting it, I guess. But I would consider it maybe even an elevation of one's soul. Like going into full lapses of meditation, mindfulness, and proper attentive breathing can lead one to rediscover breathing. And I'll join this with another video later or tomorrow about breathing because I feel like I've had a long process with breathing. It sounds stupid because like we all breathe, and we all have a process with breathing, but like most people breathe wrongly their entire lives, you know, and like the moment I started breathing correctly, and the moment I started like taking notice of it, because I noticed after my first trip that I was breathing wrongly, so incorrectly, sorry, and so the second trip I had it was alone. My second trip was alone, 2 tabs, kind of crazy thing, but I was so enchanted and curious of the LSD world and the uncomfortability that it arose, because that's true. LSD makes shit basically makes you feel everything by 10. That's a random way of saying it, to be fair, but it's, I don't know, like, you feel happiness more, you feel sadness more, you feel laughter more, so you feel anxiety more. And so, being in great big crowds of people when you're on LSD is really not very nice, to be fair. At least the first trip that I had, like some people appeared that were not tripping, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? And so it was like more proper to have people that were tripping. But the second one, I was alone, and the alone trip, it's more inside of you, and you have to be very comfortable with yourself and with your. You have to be completely comfortable with being inside yourself, and you have to be comfortable with you being the only person that's next to you. And I am. And so I was like, okay, one of the uncomfortabilities, one of the uncomforts, rather, in my first LSD trip was the fact that there was a lot of people and that I couldn't choose my music. So that was fun. And so the second trip, I went alone. I went into it alone. I might go into the second trip story at some point. Maybe I'll make a thing on it. Maybe if I want to, who the fuck knows? And so I really went into breathing my second trip through like belly breathing, like proper mindfulness breathing. And I came to realizing that like breathing and like stopping to breathe is something that, or not even stopping to breathe, but proper conscious conscience of your breathing technique feels awesome. Not only when you're on compounds, just as a whole, feels fucking awesome. And honestly, I'm gonna leave you boys because I gotta hit the bathroom. And also because it's getting late and because I wanna go do calisthenics and watch the fucking sunset. So, I hope you motherfuckers have the best day you can fucking possibly have. I'll fucking show you the fucking place where I'm at. Because why not? It's nice, doesn't it? Oh shit! Hey! So I hope you motherfuckers have. See, this is what I'm dealing with, bro. Cars and shit. Hope you motherfuckers have the best day ever. And dude, be awesome with one another.